Vbeast guys, what's up? First time doing a voiceover video. Yeah, I usually like to convey my thoughts on the motorcycle, but I think I had to address this about the Indian Challenger. I'm doing this video because some subscribers had questions about what I meant when I said it feels cheap. The dash feels cheap and looks cheap. Well, I didn't go into much detail because that's, it's just a personal opinion. I don't want to push my opinion on anybody's. Just make up your mind for yourselves. So I have some pictures on that, what I meant, and some video on it, which I was surprised I had to record it. I went to the dealer, got these pics right after those comments were made and questions were asked. So I'm also going to address when I said felt cramped, which is the seat, and I'm going to compare it to my Victory because there's still Victory guys out there wanting to know how the Challenger compares. So let's just get this started. This first video is really just showing the gaps that in the dash, and it looks a little cheap and unfinished, but that, like I said, it's subjective, but it just looks a little unrefined. And this is the gaps in the fairing. Did a little measurement. It's not too much, but you can fit your pinky in there. So it's just little bitty things like that that made it feel a little unrefined, a little cheap. This video, I was totally not expecting this. I was about to leave the dealer, and this is what happened. I'm barely pulling up on this dash console. Look at that. Look at that gap. Now, I thought maybe it was only this Challenger. So I went ahead after this and went to the next one that was right beside it. They had two there. And this was the more expensive one. And look at that. It is more. If you look at the edges, it's actually been worn down. It made a bunch of noise as well when I lifted it. I was so surprised at that. This is my Victory seat. My Victory seat, I'm getting a full 12 inches of actual space where the passenger is going to be all the way up into where my back area would be, or the support area of the main rider. This is the seat on the Indian Chieftain, and this one happens to be the base model, which that doesn't make a difference, but you can't really see it too clear, but it does have 14 inches, and that's not of total back seat where the passenger is. It's where presumably the passenger would sit at its furthest position. Now I do zoom into it and show you the actual, there it is, 14 inches, about 14, a little bit more if you're really getting technical, to the back support of the main rider. Now, that's the bike. I just took a picture for reference, for myself really. And then this is the Challenger. The Challenger reads 13 inches at the back support. Now, you say, oh, that's only an inch. Well, with the Challenger, I actually measured all the way back to the seat where the passenger would not even sit. I just did that to show that there is less room on the Challenger's passenger seat. Now, couple that with a sissy bar, which has about 1.5 to 2 inches of padding, it will lessen that space because it does push the passenger up towards the main rider just a little bit. So you have to factor that in as well. That's how the video was shot. And that is why Miss Vbeast was relaying that information to me, that she felt even more cramped on the Challenger. And the Chieftain, she felt very roomy. Now this picture is me on the Challenger showing my relative riding position that would be what I would be riding on my Victory. And that's my foot position, and then I swing my heel out just to give you a little bit more reference. This is my Victory floorboard. This is my regular riding position. I have a size 12 shoe on right here. And I do swing my foot out just to give you a little bit more reference. And then this next position is my comfortable kind of leg stretch out. And this is my fully stretched out leg. Now, this is why I do not put the highway bars on my Victory because, well, quite frankly, I don't need them. I'm 6'3", and I'm able to kick my legs out all the way to the ends of my footboards without any problem. So, victory, guys, that's the comparison. I was addressing some subscribers who asked me questions about the cheap fill and the seat and the room ride, or the area of riding. That was primarily addressing basically one person who just said, oh, you didn't get fitted for the bike, you need the tall seat to have more room. And I talked to the dealer, and guess what? That's not the case. The rider, or the tall rider seat, actually kicks the rider back into the passenger an extra 2 inches. So that means your passenger is losing 2 more inches. So that's even less space. And that's not something I was expecting on a Challenger. Now, I'm not saying it's not a great bike. That engine is great, the transmission, blah, blah, blah. That engine is great, that transmission is great, it rides great, it rides sporty. You know, the front suspension's a little stiff, but it's because it's a sportier suspension. But don't take my word for it. Go ride it, test everything. Like I said, test. Well, that's all I got for this video, guys. So ride what you ride, keep it Vbeast mode, and ride till the wheels fall off.
This has been another random weekday video by your very own Vbeast. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Most of all, have a Vbeast day.